Now, the Knight of Cups, this is the dreamer, right? How do you want to feel, Taurus? That's the kind of the aim of this week is, what do you love? How do you want to feel? I mean, that's the whole thing with the Knight of Cups. He gets called the delusional romantic. Why? Because all he notices, all he kind of is focused on is his cup. And that's his emotions, what he feels, what he has to offer people. And he offers from an emotional place. Now, sometimes if someone's offering you something, and it's the Knight of Cups, it can be that this person's promising you the sun, the moon, and the stars, but do they have the goods to back it up? Do they have the goods to back up what they're offering? Sometimes not. But the underlying energy for me, even though it's general and the energies can play out both ways, the underlying energy is usually for the person or the people in this case that I'm reading for. So this is very much reminding you, like, what's your wish? How do you want to feel? Like, focusing very much on where you're coming from a heart place. Now, this is not just about emotional stuff, like, love, happiness, all of those kind of wonderful things that we put into our cup. Because I always say that with the Ace of Cups, and that's what everyone carries here, is their cup. Whatever you have in your cup, that's what you offer. And that's what gets matched in the Two of Cups. So it's always important to know what's in my cup. Where am I coming from emotionally? Because what's the focus on? The heart of the reading is the Knight of Wands. So another knight. Whenever we get knights, that's about progress. That's about movement. So the Knight of Wands, he's in it for the experience again. So two cards reminding me as well, but reminding you about where you're going. Like, how do you want to feel? What's the experience that you want to have? He's in it for the fun, he's very passionate, very creative energy. So he's going to get into something, enjoy it for what it is. And then when it stops being fun, when it stops bringing out that energy in him, when it stops evoking that kind of reaction in him, he'll go on to something else. So the focus is so much on emotions and passions. What are your passions? What's the energy that you're putting out into the world? This is action here. It's not just about feeling. Yes, that's the fuel in your engine. That's what gets you going. Like, this is how I want to feel. But then it's like, what action am I taking? There's control issues that are being released here. Now, whether that's your control issues, whether you've been trying to control a situation, or whether you're dealing with someone who is very controlling, because we have the Emperor in the past. Card for Aries, some of you might be dealing with an Aries, but the whole point of the Emperor is that, two things come up with the Emperor. One, someone who's being very stubborn, controlling everything and not considering other people's point of view, or someone who needs to step up and take control. So maybe you were called to step up and take control. But either way, when you go from the Emperor as the path, the foundation, and this could be last week, last month, last year, this could be a pattern of your behavior. We look at the past to tell us why whatever's coming up. Power is changing hands. That's what I'm getting here. Whoever this Emperor person is, you, someone else, boss, father figure, partner, the Emperor, he's the authority figure in the tarot. But he's coming up in the past. So whoever had the power in the past, they don't have it anymore. If it's you, it's almost like you don't want it anymore. If you're coming up as all these knights, you want the adventure, you want to get out there. The Knight of Wands is the explorer, the traveler. He's all about that experience. He's going to go backpacking across Asia or, whatever. That's his energy. Knight of Cups, he wants the fairy tale. He wants to feel great. That's about going and getting those things. The Emperor doesn't. He sits there and makes decisions. So if you've been in this kind of a role where you've had to be in control, you've been in charge, it feels like you don't want that anymore. You don't want that anymore. Or for some of you, I'm going to say this might have been someone who prevented you from moving forward. And people don't usually, we always allow people to do what they do to us. But, if you had a boss who won't let you explore your creativity at work, and it wasn't a happy experience working under them, right? The Knight of Cups, can't even speak. With the Knight of Cups coming up here, that's in the past. That's the foundation now. And how do I know that's changing? How do I know that power is shifting hands, or, this control factor's gone? Because we have the Wheel of Fortune in the present. And this talks about the wheel is always turning. There's a change in the season now. So with this card coming up before, it's like whoever had power doesn't have it anymore. And like I said, if it's you, you don't want it. You don't want it. Not with the knights coming up. It's you want to move forward. You want to move to something new. And, it's very clearly that. This is very clearly a reading. The energies, just to sum it up, if you take nothing else away from this reading, from one person having all the power, to everything shifting to now there being equality and balance in relationships. So the Wheel of Fortune, this can be opportunities that come in. Now, it's sitting underneath the Knight of Cups. So these are the opportunities that come in. You're not sure which one to pick. Because as much as the Wheel of Fortune is about fate, right? We turn fate into destiny by the choices that we make. You know, opportunities are just doorways for us to walk through, but we are the ones that must walk through them or gallop through them with all these knights coming up. The only knight you don't have here, just to stop for a moment, the only knight you don't have is the Earth Knight, which would be your knight, the Knight of Pentacles. So you are decidedly not being that kind of Taurus, take it easy, be careful kind of energy. No, because this one dashes around. He's the fastest moving knight for me, the Knight of Swords. Very spontaneous energy, and it comes from how you feel. So whichever option or opportunity looks good for you, that's the one that you go for, and you do it from an emotional place, which may be a new experience for you. You know, it might be completely new experience, especially if you've always kind of mulled over things, decided what you were going to do, done the responsible thing. Don't forget that the emperor, he's responsible for everyone that's in his empire, right? He runs that kingdom. He takes care of people. That's not what's come. The knights don't. The knights go out on missions and they do things. So this week seems pivotal if the Wheel of Fortune's coming in. Keep an eye out for opportunities that come up for you. And I would say with these 3 knights coming in, you might have an opportunity for something that appeals to you emotionally, creatively, or, you know, for your passion, and like stimulates you mentally. That's your truth. That's your belief. It could be one thing that taps into all of this, but I believe is more than one opportunity. Seasons change, and that's what the Wheel of Fortune says. You know, luck is changing, seasons are changing. Now, if you take this opportunity, what happens? We have the 6 of Pentacles coming up, and this is about, as I said, you know, balance, equality. What you give in is what you get. Now, I'm going to say this, and I haven't said this for a while for the 6 of Pentacles, but I do see it in this card, especially in your reading. We see this person here who's giving away coins and to the poor, right? They have their hands out and they're taking the coins. So that looks like inequality. It's called the charity card sometimes, but it is equality. They both get something out of the situation. This person has surplus and they get to do a good deed by giving away to the poor. Now they give him the opportunity to do that. They obviously get something out of it too by getting money. They don't have it, so they get it. But the thing that, you know, is really kind of sticking out to me, somebody had to go first. Did he offer the coins and that's why they came forward and put their hands out? Or did they put their hands out first and he thought, oh, you know what? I've got extra. Let's give it. Now, I think he always goes first. The one that has more. The person that had the power. Or maybe that's just it. The person that had the power is now the one that has to have their hand out. And the other person has to be the one to give it. I mean, that's your situation. It's hard to predict when the Wheel of Fortune comes out because that changes everything. Now, we have the Knight of Wands here above the 6 of Pentacles. So it's almost as if the sense of adventure or passion or whatever you bring into it, if you're dealing with someone else and you're not sure if they share that, I would say yes, because you get back what you put in. If this is a work reading for you, and you've been kind of slogging away, because that is the boss card, right? This is where you get recognized and you get back what you've put in. You know, it's fair compensation for the hours that you've been putting in, the work that you've been putting in. Things balance out. But how do you get to that? What's the advice here that we have coming up for you? We have the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords, he is all about his thoughts, his beliefs, his ideas, and he's a great communicator. Now, I say a great communicator. He's not as great as the King and Queen of Swords, obviously, because they have some tact, they have some eloquence, they know how to get their ideas across. He's a little bit less seasoned when it comes to getting his ideas across, and he can be a little bit blunt in the way that he expresses what he's thinking. But if you're coming from a place of emotion and passion, right, with these two coming up here, it makes sense. And I kind of get the sense that there's a newness here. With all these knights coming in, there's a freshness, there's a movement. And some of these things might be, it's the first time that you've done it. If you've always been this kind of solid, tight-lipped, I'm in charge, I'm responsible, emperor energy, you may not have ever been able to come from a heart place to express that kind of lesser kind of, I don't want to say lesser, but the more kind of whimsical side of your personality. Or this, the more fun side, that I'm going to be the one that lets my hair down. I'm not going to be the one that drives this time. Somebody else can drive. I'm having a drink. It's that, you know, that kind of energy. And people will look at you and think, Taurus, what happened to you? Knight of Swords. Maybe you always were the diplomat, you know, or you just stayed quiet. The Emperor will just give his kind of whatever his judgment is on a situation, expect it to be done. Now you're discussing things. Now you're communicating. But the important thing is, it's what you bring to the situation. And I've kept it really broad, but, you know, we have 3 knights here. That's kind of the main thing. There's movement and progress in 3 different areas because they all cover 3 different areas. I'm actually going to pull one. This is something that you've been waiting for. No wonder. Okay, it makes sense. You've been waiting for it. Or whoever this is. I said it's general, right? So it can play both ways. But Temperance talks about divine timing, patience, moderation in all things. And you've done that. Think about it. The emotions are here because Temperance says balance out your whole life. It's like cleaning a house, making sure everything is getting equal attention. And we have 3 knights here and they cover all the different areas. Emotions, passions and creativity. And the you know, that's the head, that's the heart. And that's the action that you take to convey whatever it is. So someone's been waiting. And I think that's why the Emperor energy is in the past. Because this was that stubbornness. This is like, I'm not going to act first. I'm not going to move on this. And it's almost as if someone got tired of waiting. And that's the whole thing with Temperance. We talk about divine timing. We talk about divine, you know, divine guidance. But things don't actually happen until we're ready for them. It's not like some angel is sat up there stopping us saying, oh no, you can't have this just yet. It doesn't work like that. It's when we're ready. And I'd say you're ready with these 3 nights coming up. That's why it's time. Now, this might be something that you were waiting to happen. And now you kind of realize, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just go and say something. But it's received well, guys, with the 6 of Pentacles coming up there. Let's get you some oracle cards and we'll see how else this plays out. And this is a nightmare to shuffle because my hands have been hurting. I mean, yesterday I was dropping cards everywhere. Today I'm a little better. I was boxing on Friday. I've been telling everyone. And the only thing that is real is love. That's the Knight of Cups. Bloody hell. Be authentic to who you are. That's the Knight of Swords. You are asked to be real and true to pertaining to who you are and how you feel. Did I read the bottom bit? I didn't on that. So the only thing that is real is love. Shift your focus from the problem back to love. And that's your underlying energy for the week. Then we have be authentic to who you are. You are asked to be real and true pertaining to who you are and how you feel. So again, the feeling thing, but he's authentic. You know, he speaks his truth. And even the Knight of Wands, he's authentic to how he feels. Like if it's not fun, he's out of there. Show simple acts of kindness. A simple act of kindness can energize you and bring happiness to those around you. It's almost like they back all the cards up, guys. Look, that's the 6 of Pentacles. I said it was a charity card, right? Choose love. Knight of Cups. Embrace. I didn't even read the bottom. Why do I keep doing that? I've never done that before. You always have a choice as to what you should do. And then we have embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. It is about embracing it. And you know that he wouldn't have done that. He would have done what was kind of right for everyone, being in charge. But it's not about that. It's all shifting. I love the kind of the knight's energy, because that's always progress. That's always movement. That's always going for what it is that you want to achieve. Now, round and round says it's when we feel like we keep going round and round in the same situation. You know, why does this keep happening? Well, it doesn't. And sometimes the Wheel of Fortune can bring a situation back round again, but it comes back round again to show you how much you've changed. You're different now. You're not going to treat it like the Emperor. You're going to do it like the Knights would do it. And the other message from round and round that I always see is sometimes we think we're going round and round, like we're just going round in a circle, but actually we are ascending at the same time, going up. So you are progressing, you are moving forward. It's just the motion of it. If you look at it from where you are, you think, I'm not really getting anywhere fast. But yeah, there could be for some of you a situation that's come back round again, but you're completely different and you'll do it differently this time. Okay. It says, dear you, sometimes you just feel like no one understands you. You're not heard, or even that you don't count. This, my dear, is a terrible illusion. And although your feelings tell you that abandonment is real, well, we who love you know better. You are never alone. And even when rejection happens, you are ultimately being protected. So better things can replace what wouldn't have worked in the first place. Everyone on this side of the veil is watching over you and rooting for your ultimate success. Life loves you, we love you, and you are a unique spark of the divine and always connected to the light and to source. You are always in our care. Trust and keep the faith. Love you always and forever. And you know what? Yeah, that's the whole thing. How many people would know the emperor? Really know him? Who would understand the emperor? No one. They just see him as a control factor. He's in charge. He's going to get things done. Think about it. You know, we complain about to our governments and people in charge as well, which with good reason a lot of times, but let's not get political. But, you know, it's that sense. That's everyone might have just seen you, Taurus, as this kind of emperor energy. But that's just it. The wheels turn now. There is this kind of rejuvenation when I get 3 nights like that coming up. And it's like, I'm not waiting anymore. That's what the Temperance card says. I'm not waiting. I'm ready for this. I'm going to go get it. I'm not waiting for it to come in. I'm going to go and get it. And that's what the Knights do, right?